Hey everybody, it's the Review Revolution, back at you with a double feature, because it's Friday. That's right. It is another double feature Friday. Welcome to the weekend, my friends. You made it. Congratulations. Hope you have a great one. For tonight, I just, of course, uploaded the Batman Reborn Stephanie Brown Batgirl figure. Really awesome. Really nice. Even if you're not a Batgirl fan, if you are a Batman fan, she's a good one to get. And for that review, I actually dug Cassandra out of my pile of figures, figuring I'd show her more in that review, and I didn't. So rather than sticking her back in and waiting for who knows when, I figure she's a great chance to go ahead and do a double feature on. So that's right, we're going to take a look at the Cassandra Cain Batgirl. Cassandra Cain from the DC Direct Justice League of America Classics Classified series, Series 2 actually, of which the Blue Superman, Kyle Rayner, and Aquaman, along with Batgirl, are included. Has just the regular blue card with the picture of Batgirl, so rather generic packaging. Nothing new for DC Direct. On the back, there are the other figures, or a better look at the other figures, which I like the Aquaman. He actually looks really, really cool. As, again, typical for DC Direct, the write-up for the figures is kind of broken into 4 separate paragraphs. And today we're taking a look at Batgirl. So, as Batgirl, Cassandra Cain is highly trained in various combat skills. A master martial artist, she is also able to intuitively read body language and anticipate her opponent's every move. So that's not saying much. That doesn't tell you much. It kind of explains one thing, because her ability to fight was kind of at the cost of her communication. She didn't really have a communication ability. She was just quiet. Now, to look more intimidating, I guess that's why her mask is kind of stitched shut, just to make her look a little more dangerous. Later, when she actually did speak, over time, she actually lost her innate ability for fighting and just had to kind of rely on her own actual skill. But interesting character. She was actually from a family of assassins, and her whole motivation for being Batgirl is all about redemption. It's all about kind of making up for what she's already done. Not that she had anything done to her, but rather just making up for what she had done. So that was kind of her motivation. In her story, and what ultimately kind of led to Stephanie taking over, is that she was, Cassandra, trying to track down Deathstrike and her father, and I forgot his name, to get revenge for what they've done, and how she was raised, I guess. And when she finally found them, Batman had stopped her and said, "Look, don't do this. Don't give in. I'll adopt you as my daughter. We'll get through this." And I guess Cassandra was okay with it. That was what she wanted. She was finding some kind of peace with that. Well, shortly after, before Bruce could legally go through the adoption, he disappeared. And without Bruce there, and now losing track of her father and Deathstrike, Cassandra just up and disappeared herself. So at that time, she was friends with Stephanie. Stephanie picked up the outfit, and from there, she became the new Batgirl. But that's kind of a brief history of Cassandra. Let's take a moment, pop her out of the pack, have a look, and have some fun. Be right back. Alright, everybody. We've got Cassandra out of the pack, and, overall, kind of, sort of, okay, not so much. It's a DC Direct figure, and, like the Marvel Select, it's really all about the sculpt. It's really about, having the character in figure form for display. Not really a whole lot as far as, posing and getting dynamic and, playing with. But you know, in the case of Batgirl here, and this is not the first DC Direct Cassandra Cain. There is actually the first appearance series with her in it. And I don't know if this is just a repackage of that figure. I think the belt is different, but you know, they could have just swapped out the belts. I'll have to take a look and see if I can find that figure and compare them. But this one's, again, the sculpt and the articulation, neither one come off all that well. So, you know, she's kind of a fair character right down the middle. First off, you know, looking at the mask, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, it's a good Batman, Batgirl-ish, you know, got the lenses over the eyes with the stitched mouth closed. It's not a bad Cassandra Cain. It's very much in line with the way her mask normally looks. My problem is that it looks as though her head does sit a little high. Maybe it's me, but it seems as though that it does sit a little high. The bat symbol with yellow border, that looks nice. I really, really like the way that turned out. Of course, the utility belt, it's just a kind of a soft extra piece that's on there. So again, they could have just swapped out the belt with the one that was already released. Again, you have to take a look and find out. I love how on the figure, the body is kind of a matte black, whereas the gloves and the boots are kind of a more shiny kind of color. You got more of a gloss on the boots and the gloves, with more of a matte on the body. You know, it helps the figure, helps keep the figure from completely blending into itself. You know, the mask does that kind of badly, and the fact that the whole thing is a gloss, so the stitches and just the seam, even the eyes, it just kind of blends into itself and can kind of get lost. You know, you can kind of see around the eyes. You know, except where the light catches it, you know, it gets kind of lost, and it's a bit of a shame. Now, as I mentioned, you know, there's not much on articulation, but Cassandra has even less than, you know, I would have expected. The head is not on a ball, it's just a hinge. The shoulder comes up, twists, then at the elbow, but no twist at the wrist. So not even a twist at the wrist. I believe that there could have been a twist at the waist, but there isn't. So that's another disappointment. The leg does come out, and there is a bend at the knee, but no twist or hinge at the foot, because of course that would interfere with the very sleek boots. Not much in the way of sculpting on the bottom of the boot either. You know, one thing about some of the DC Direct figures, particularly the Batman figures, is that there's a lot of extra little sculpting in there that makes them look very nice. Cassandra doesn't really have it. And one thing too is that her head almost looks thicker than her waist. So she's got a great figure, but it gives her kind of a big head. I don't know. If you're a Batgirl fan, if you like to collect the Bat family, Cassandra's actually not a bad one. I wouldn't mind seeing Mattel take a crack at her. She comes with her Justice League of America classified base, which is a little more bland than some of the other DC bases that have come out. But that's a look at Cassandra. Bringing in Stephanie. Barbara. And this is the Mattel's Barbara. And then, if you haven't already read it, I definitely recommend checking it out. The Elseworlds Finest Batgirl. She fits in pretty well. She's a little bit bigger than Stephanie, but she's certainly in line with Barbara, and a little bit smaller than the Elseworlds Batgirl. But, you know, consistency isn't except I expect. Overall, I'd say it's still a good figure to pick up, especially if you know what you're getting with the DC Direct line. We'll have more of these figures coming out soon. For now, though, I certainly thank everybody for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.